and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Dorothy Beninga. There's this bird that is looking for my trouble. If you see me for the first time, I love to share about Jesus on this page. So if you love to hear about Jesus, you're welcome. However, today we're going to talk about Christmas. As you can see from the title of the video, I'm going to be talking about why at some point in my life I didn't used to look forward to Christmas, but that has changed. Why do I have a comb in my hand? Anyway, that has changed, and I just want to share with you. So just sit back and enjoy this ride. All right, welcome back. So I'm just going to quickly jump into it. First of all, we all know that Christmas is the most wonderful time of the year. It still is. It absolutely is, and you can literally see how happy and excited I am. Like I have this wide smile on my face because I'm going to be talking about Christmas, or because I'm talking about Christmas. So you should know it's actually the most wonderful time of the year. But there was a time that Christmas stopped being really so wonderful for me. Like I wasn't anticipating or looking forward to Christmas again. And two basic reasons, two things happened that, caused all of this. So first, my granddad, who I grew up with all my life, I didn't even used to call him grandpa, I used to call him daddy. Yes, because I grew up with him all my life, died in the year 2018. And the first Christmas after he died wasn't the same. No matter how we tried, to make it same, it just wasn't the same. There was this kind of like feeling of incompleteness. I don't even have the right words to say it, but to be very honest, grief changes a lot of things in you, and there was just this feeling of, no, this is not how Christmas is. This is not. I remember always going for Christmas service with my grandfather, my grandmother, my sister. Most of the times my aunties were the ones at home, doing all the cooking and preparing, or they would be too exhausted because they had spent Christmas Eve, preparing for the Christmas day. So most of the time, he would take us to church, and just like that changed. And it did something to my mind, something that I refused to accept, but then I felt like I could just escape it. So it wasn't really exciting for me as at that time. It was like, no matter how we tried to make it look like it was the same, it wasn't really the same. So that was one of the first reasons why I wasn't so excited, looking forward to Christmas and all of that. Then the second thing is I began to have a certain level of anxiety when December period was coming. So when I think of Christmas, I think of measuring my successes, my achievements against that of the people that were around me. So I was seeing people celebrating stuff, and I was looking at my life like I was behind, like I didn't get to the point that I thought I should be, or I'm not at the celebration level that I should be with other people. So I began to see December. December was a very anxious month for me. I was measuring, I was calculating, I was comparing. And the first year, I remember one of the years, I literally cried myself, cried, and I was like, God, look at my life. I'm not even thinking about the excitement of the celebration of your birth and all that it means for us as Christians, or as children of God, or what it means to the entire world. I wasn't even thinking about that. All I was thinking of was the year is rounding up again. Another anxiety. Oh, I haven't achieved this. I haven't accomplished this. My friends are getting married. My friends are getting their dream jobs. I'm not even in a relationship. Like literal and practical, and as I can be. That's what I'm gonna be doing in this video. Okay, so that was it for me. So I began to have serious anxieties, and still on the first issue of my late granddad, or my granddad, it still feels so weird to say late. Still on the issue of that, like no matter how the decorations, everything, the house didn't just feel the same. Of course, my aunties, everybody got married, and it wasn't always the same case of everybody coming back home again. So yeah, it was a bit difficult navigating that. I know it was for everyone at home. It was for all of us navigating that, and also the comparison thing. Now, what changed? In the year 2023, I remember December was coming again, and there was this anxiety again. There was this anxiety, a year is coming to an end. Lord, I've been praying for specific and particular things, and the ones that you're even bringing to pass are not even the ones I prayed for. Yeah, because if you know me very well, you know I never wanted to do NYSC, and NYSC was like the only, for me, as at that time, I was thinking that was the only good thing that happened to me in 2023. You know, having to go out of my usual place, travel to another state and all of that. It was a certain level of therapy I needed for the year 2023, because that year I went through a lot. So I remember in the year 2023, a few days to December, I was in Abuja, and Nathaniel Bassi called for a prayer. So the prayer was for the month of December. And I realized in that moment, when I was going through the comment sections of the post, I realized that I wasn't alone in my feelings of anxiety, of nervousness, of fear, of panic, of something not I don't know. There are just some things that we don't have the right words to really explain them, and I just knew that all I needed was to commit it to the Lord in prayer. I didn't even think about that, okay, because I felt like I just needed to do things differently, work harder, you know, so that at the end of the year I'm going to get what I want, or maybe present myself better, so that at the end of the year, you know, when others are celebrating, I can also have something to celebrate. But then that year, 2023, we spent time and prayed for December, for the month of December. And that was the year I surrendered all my anxieties, my fears, my everything. I just let it go. And can I tell you that there was a big change. There was a real shift. I had the most exciting December. There was a shift in my mind. There was a shift in all of those anxieties and all whatnot. There was really a massive shift, because I realized in that instance that I was making it all about myself, and I wasn't really putting God in the picture. I wasn't really, you know, about knowing what God was doing in this particular phase or in this particular season of my life. I was all about what I thought I needed to do, or what I thought I hadn't achieved, and stuff like that. So after that prayer, it shifted my mind, and I really began to be excited again and understand Christmas again, you know, and really come into the reality of the season and what the season is all about. Everything that the birth of Christ meant or means for us. And I stopped it going into a new year with anxiety. I stopped ending the year with anxiety. I was ending the year with thanksgiving. And one thing that we do not understand is that, first of all, anxiety doesn't come from God. So that was the enemy trying to steal my joy, trying to steal my happiness in those seasons. Of course, the grief was there, but you know, day after day, there was healing. There was acceptance. There was still the beauty of what we experience, okay? That memory, even though when Christmas comes, there's that memory of, oh, if Daddy was here. But then there's also that remembrance from a place of joy that he is at a better place. Okay, try not to get emotional. But yeah, he is at a better place, and all our life on earth, or everything that we experience today, is I'm missing my words, okay? I got so much. But that, yeah, even though we don't have him here, we enjoyed the life with him. We enjoyed Christmas with him, and still we have that hope that we will reunite and still meet, and Christ has done, and he's still doing the work of healing in our hearts, and still believe that Okay, I'm not going to cut this because I don't have the luxury of time to cut and start, all over again. But yeah, that was it for me. That was my story, and how God helped me to shift my mind from myself and to focus it on Him and what He is doing and what He has done. Even in our seasons, I know there's so many people like me who have had experiences that made them to stop looking forward to certain times of the year because of a memory they have with someone that they lost. But in all of this, I want to assure you that even though I am crying at this point, it doesn't mean that I am not comforted, okay? Yeah, memories tend to, do that to us, to shake us up, but Daddy is at a better place. And of course, because of what Christ did, because of His coming and dying later on, I get to reunite with Him, okay? We get to reunite. And I know for His facts that the angels, He's singing with them because He was a beautiful singer. So yeah, that's my story. That was how I stopped looking forward to Christmas, and then God healed my heart, started doing a work of healing in my heart, and it changed a lot about how I viewed, perceived, and understood Christmas. And today I can tell you I'm very excited about December. I'm very excited about sitting in the moment of and reliving, re-experiencing, talking again, living in the reality of the coming of Christ means to us, and of course not calculating my achievements based off of another person's own, because that's not what it is about. Okay, thank you so much for staying right here to the end of this video. This is like the most vulnerable content I've ever posted on YouTube, and yeah, I'll see you on my next video. Bye.